Ever since Edgar Allan Poe wrote his Black Cat story in 1842, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote his The Hound of Baskervilles in 1902, animals have clawed and pawed their way into literature and into readers' hearts. Hi, my name is Lynn McNichol, and this is Sally Berg. We are librarians with the Public Library of Albuquerque-Bernalillo County. We're here to explore with you bark books and cat tales, or mystery with fur. We're also going to tell a few bad jokes. It's not a surprise that animals have found their way into literature. After all, 68% of U.S. households have pets, usually cats or dogs. What is surprising is how animals have found their way into the definition of the subgenre of cozy. A cozy is comfort crime. It is mystery light. It is rose-tinted crime. You've heard of hard-boiled. Well, cozies are soft-boiled. You've heard of police procedurals. Well, cozies are cuddle crime. The more concise definition is that cozies are a reinterpretation of the classical/traditional/golden age of mysteries of the 20s and 30s. Now, these mysteries presented a puzzle to be solved by the amateur detective and the reader as well. Prime examples are Agatha Christie and her Miss Marple series, or Dorothy Sayers, Lord Peter Whimsey, and Harriet Vane. But forget definitions. You want to know what a cozy is? Just look at the cover. It can only be murder. Flower in the attic. Or, my favorite, a case of Syrah, Syrah. Okay, with titles like these, you know that the story is not going to be too frightening, and that the threat of death is more an inconvenience. Cozies, like most genres, have a pre-subscribed formula. Usually the amateur detective is a female, and she's just like us. She's clever, she's smart, she's lovable and loving, and she's usually underestimated, much like Jessica Fletcher in her Murder, She Wrote series. And by the by, if you want to know the murder capital of the United States, it is not LA or New York City or Miami. It is beautiful Cabot Cove. Now, the setting of a cozy is going to be a self-contained village, a coastal town, a valley. It's going to be occupied by quaint, quirky characters engaged in spring fairs and autumn festivals. The background on the cover will have a beautiful sunset or sunrise, and in the foreground, there will be a sampling of the amateur detective's hobby, say baking cake or cupcakes or bread. It will always include recipes. It also may be like a quilting, crewing, crocheting. On about half of those covers, though, will also be an adorably cute kitten or an unbelievably cute puppy. Now, I realize that those adverbs are redundant. Have you ever seen an uncute kitten? Have you ever seen an adorably not adorable puppy? Anyway, a mystery is a mystery is a mystery, to paraphrase Gertrude Stein. So, cozy or no, you've got to have a crime, and it's usually murder in a mystery. Now, in a cozy, there is going to be no gore, no pools of blood, no decomposing corpses. The murder is going to take place off page, as will any sex that happens. Again, the sleuth is going to be a female. She is going to be loving and lovable. She loves her family and her friends and her pets. She's recently given up a high-powered, high-paying job to return to home and family and friends, country living, and sushi-free dining. In Cozies, neither the good gals or the bad guys cuss, swear, or say dirty words. Except for the occasional drat or darn, Cozies will not have an angst-ridden alcoholic detective. The villain will not be a creepy serial killer or a sadistic pedophile. The villain will be an ordinary person who succumbs to jealousy, greed, revenge. Cozies are what they claim to be: good puzzle mysteries that take place in a safe, comfortable environment with smart, lovable people who have smart, lovable pets. And you, the reader, have to provide only the blankie, the hot chocolate, and the furry friend.
Of course, not every cozy has an animal. And every mystery with an animal is not a cozy. That said, about half the cozies written today do employ animal characters in various roles, as I'll demonstrate later the different parts that pets play in mysteries. So how did kittens and puppies come to populate nearly half the cozy fiction? We really don't need to explain the popularity of kittens and puppies in cozies. What we need to do is point the claw at Lilian Jackson Braun, who reintroduced her cats Coco and Yum Yum in the 90s. The publishing business, realizing what a lucrative business this was, decided that the public enjoyed these books with cute cats and cute pets, and that they were written intelligently. So the subgenre was born again. Cozies aren't the only books to feature animals. There are romance novels now that have cute dogs on the cover instead of six-pack abs. There are mystery police procedurals that feature corpse-sniffing dogs, and let's not forget Cujo or Pet Cemetery. We're focusing on cozies because animals play such a major part of the subgenre. You can count on it. No animals dying in cozies. Never, never, never.
And another by the by, if you're one of those readers like me who can't stand to have the dog or the cat die in a book, then there is a website just for us. Just choose your favorite search engine and go type in, does a dog die, does a cat die, and the title. Now, they will provide a spoiler for the book, but better a spoiler than a dead dog or a killed kitty. And besides, if I wanted to read something like that, I would read Stephen King. Back to animals and cozies. Animals serve a number of purposes. Take Rita Mae Brown and her Mrs. Murphy series. She serves as the detective, and she talks, of course, as do the dogs and the horses. She also, at times, will give her dim-witted human warnings of danger. There is also Midnight Louie and Midnight Louise, who are two tough-talking black cats who prowl New Orleans.
New writer Jennifer Hawkins into Fetch a Felon also uses talking animals, in this case an adorable corgi, as you can see on the cozy cover, named Oliver, who talks with animals, but only his human can understand him, word for word and bark for bark. In Mission Impossible from the Paws and Claws series, Krista Davis's Trixie, the Jack Russell, sniffs out clues, points the way to the murder with nary a word of English unless you count woof woof.
Sophie Ryan's Second Chance Cat series has Elvis, a cat who is equal partner with his human in the detective team. He also serves as a source of levity and humor. Now, it's time for another by the by. There's frequently an association with mystery and cats. The reason I think that occurs is that 7,000 years ago, cats were considered gods. Today, they have not forgotten that. This is also a great place for a segue into cat and dog jokes.
Dogs have owners.
Cats have staff.
A dog says, people love me, feed me, shelter me. They must be God.
A cat says, people feed me, love me, shelter me. I must be God. And now it's time for $10,000 cat pyramid game. Question to cat, your best friend. Cat reply, couch. Question to cat, the one I love. Cat reply, catnip. Question to cat, someone you die for. Cat reply, what? I don't know. Pass.
As I mentioned before, animals can play lots of roles in mysteries. They can go from being an accessory, like a Prada bag, to the first person or first pet narrator. Let me preface this by saying that it's not necessary that the pet solves the mystery, but just showing up to enhance the lives of their people is good enough. Thank you. The first person I'm going to talk about is Robert B. Parker, who has a lot of different series, and I'll be mentioning two of the series that he wrote that had animals in them. Until his death, his short-haired pointer Pearl was always on the back cover of the book with him. The last Spencer book that he completed was Sixkill. It was published posthumously, and sadly, Pearl was not on the back cover with Mr. Parker. But Pearl, the Wonder Dog, was a constant presence, talked about on almost every page, unless they weren't at home. But she ate dinner with them. She stayed either at Spencer's house or at Susan Silverman's house, and she slept in their bed. Another example is David Rosenfelt's Andy Carpenter and his dogs Tara and Sebastian. Tara and Sebastian usually just eat and sleep, but when they're out going for walks with their people, a lot of times that's when they run into the cases that they take on. And their people are Andy and Lori. The second example of a dog that's not an accessory but an assistant detective. That's another Robert B. Parker character and series, the Sonny Randall series, and Sonny's dog is named Rosie. And Rosie is a miniature English Bull Terrier, and poor Rosie is involved in the action merely by her association with Sonny. The poor thing has been poisoned, dog-napped, and locked away in a closet. To have Sonny come home and rescue her doesn't say enough, because Rosie just passively takes it for Sonny. The last example, and one of my favorites, because I just became familiar with Spencer Quinn's series, and there are a lot of books by him. It's the narrator dog, and this dog actually narrates all the action. The dog's name is Chet, and he's very reliable when he's describing his human's hunts for clues. He doesn't get it when the human is trying to say he's going to be getting him fixed, but it gets distracted very easily by squirrels and smells and Slim Jims and naps where he has sweet dreams of his human sweaty socks. This is the funniest part about these books. Wherever Chet and Bernie go, Chet's greeted by those who know and love him. Hey, it's Chet! Even prison guards, when they're going to visit somebody in the prison, get excited when they see Chet. And then they look and, oh, Bernie's here too. This is another example of a narrator dog, and this dog the book is partially narrated by a dog named Maggie, who teams up with Scott James, who's a police officer, after her handler's killed in Afghanistan and Scott's police partner is killed. Robert Craze said that he wrote Suspect after his dog died and he just couldn't get into another Elvis Cole story.
In summary, cozy mysteries are a subgenre of mystery that engages both our love of mystery and our love of our pets. We've talked about how pets serve as accessories, as narrators, as sidekicks, as sources of humor. But I think the real reason animals are so popular in cozies is they let we, the readers, know that the amateur detective narrator is someone we can trust, someone we can count on, someone who is a good, kind person who will solve the mystery to our satisfaction. The good guys and the good gals will win in a cozy. Justice will triumph. Order will be restored. And the puzzle will be solved. Our heroine will find the murderer. The dog will wag its tail. And the cat won't give a flip. Thank you for joining us.
And you too.